Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK.
And I'm Courtney.
And Courtney, how are you?
Well, I meant to ask before I started what you were talking about this episode, so I was in the same vein of talking with you, but I didn't. Here we are now, starting an episode.
Um,
I'm okay. I'm very tired. It's been a very long week. Good and mostly good things. I think all good things probably. I'm just tired. I did I worked and then I worked some more. And then I didn't work on Saturday and Sunday, which means that I had to double work today and tomorrow and Wednesday, which is very exciting, as you can imagine,
yeah.
because I still need those hours that I didn't do. Um, but yeah, I did. I've been just like kind of chilling. Kirsten came over Saturday. We did like a girls' day, and by that I mean I bundled on the couch and stared at her while she talked to me because the 2 hours before she got there, I was just laying in the bed in the dark. But then she forgot her key, and I did have to get up and let her in. It was a real bummer.
That is a
Um,
bummer.
yeah. So it just turns out I need rest, I think. And
Mm,
I don't have it.
I
I
know.
don't know when I'm gonna have it. But I finally tried my wine. I don't know if I told you. I got one of those like $7 specialty wines from Trader Joe's. They're always like promoting like
Yeah.
a different one all the time. It was so good. Like
Good.
I drank more than I should have, but it was like a Chardonnay Chenin Blanc mix and something else. There's something else in it. But I was like, I don't normally buy this, but it's okay. Um, and I like felt totally fine. Like I was a little dehydrated. Like I was really thirsty on Sunday, but like I felt totally fine, no headache, and like I didn't drink water because I forgot. I realized my cup was still very full the next day when I woke up. So I did not drink water. I had a couple pieces of pizza, but like nothing that like, you know, should
Yeah.
have helped that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've been just kind of chilling. I finally got groceries, went to Aldi yesterday and got some of their like fall stuff. I'm very excited. I got a new fall mat that has like leaves and like tea and coffee and stuff on it. They had cinnamon sugar butter, which is like one of my favorites. I love a cinnamon sugar butter.
Nice.
Um, and so I might have that in our 17th recording today, since it'll be late. I'll need to keep going. Um, and what else I got? I guess oh my gosh, they have a charcuterie section right now. Do you have an Aldi?
Yeah. I
You
don't
should go to
shop
Aldi.
there, but
You should go to Aldi.
but here's the thing. My problem with going to Aldi isn't Aldi. It's my husband.
I know, I know.
We have a
He's such a
Save-A-Lot and a Tops both right around the corner from us. We have an Aldi. We have a Trader Joe's. We only get groceries from Wegmans.
I know, but you should just sneak away one day and get
I
it
will.
yourself. Because I'm telling you, they have this like crazy charcuterie section right now. And so I got olive, it's like an olive vodka like meat. And then there's one that's like a honey bourbon meat. There was another one, but I don't remember what it was. It wasn't alcohol I had. So I didn't get that one. And they have so many cheeses right now. I got one that's espresso martini cheese, and Rachel got a petite sirah cheese. Um, and I'm just saying it is like, oh, and they have these new like pasta dishes right now that they're supposed to be really good. I have not had them, but I've bought them to try.
But I can never eat pasta again, so.
Mm, that's fair. That's fair. They also have what did I get? It was like a cauliflower pasta or something. But
Mm,
it wasn't like a pasta and it had like pea it was like made with like pea flour and like
interesting.
another veggie that I really liked, and that's broccoli rabe. And so I
Okay.
got that, and I'm gonna like just grill up some chicken and throw in it. But and it's like cheese otherwise.
Yeah.
But real hopping at Aldi right now. Real hopping. We had such a good outing yesterday. I'm very excited to try all my new things. Um,
I'm excited for you.
yeah, so that's me. That's my week. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not. I mean, I have to go on a diet. Um and I we discovered today. So my one of my best friends, her husband is a personal trainer and a nutritionist, so he is the one who's helping me figure out what I need to eat. But weirdly, you know what came up in our conversation about my eating habits?
Was it chocolate?
No,
Um,
this is going to be not surprising to anyone who knows me. My biggest problem with eating is that I undereat,
sure. Yeah.
which causes my body to digest food strangely because I'm
Right.
basically starving myself all of the
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
And it's not intentional or like eating disorder related. I just
Right.
have no ability to remember to feed myself
Hmm. Hmm.
or
Yeah.
or the ability to know that I'm hungry.
Yeah. That is your biggest problem.
So,
Your body doesn't know how to work because you don't eat it.
right. So I am gonna try to cut carbs a little bit. I really don't know how to give up potatoes. I don't think that's something I can possibly do. But I can be more conscious of my portions of potatoes, um, and how often I eat them. So I am gonna try to be more conscious of carbs and sugars. I think I have to stop drinking Dr. Pepper, which might actually send me to an early grave. Um, But I think if I start eating at regular intervals, maybe my life will be better.
I know. I will say, like, I eat more normal than you do. But Rachel's like, she's like, I don't know, like, how you survive because if you're not eating with us, you're eating like sides as your meals. She's like, you'll just eat some broccoli or like eat a
Yeah,
piece of
and
meat.
and
Like, you
Dan
don't eat it regular.
Dan and I have both been very, very busy recently. Like he just had a concert last week, and so he had a lot of rehearsals, and I've been in tech for The Outsiders, so we have been eating dinner separately, which means that I'm not eating meals.
Normal, right? Yeah. That's my biggest problem is that I
Um,
don't eat meals
the
very
other
well.
day he knew I was having a rough time, so he came bought me presents. And by presents, he got flowers and he got some sparkling sugar-free water, but flavored water, like sparkling flavored water that I will actually drink because usually when I try to drink sugar-free water, it's disgusting. But he
Yeah.
got flavors that I will actually drink, and he got high chews.
Ugh, were they the mango ones?
The new around the world one with the mango chamoy. You
No, I
tried.
don't know
Oh my
this.
gosh, it's a 3 pack and it's like around the world flavors, and it was yuzu lime, mai tai, and mango chamoy, which is the chili mangoes from Mexico.
Uh-huh. I love a chili mango. That's one of my
And
favorite treats.
yes, so we had chili mango high chews. And he was like, but there's more surprises. Oh, I just hit my microphone because there's a fruit fly. He was like, there's more surprises. And I was like, okay. And then today he goes, did you see the other surprise? I was like, I have literally no idea what you're talking about. And I opened the fridge and he had gotten me like a pre-made meal that you just toss in the
Oh,
oven. And it was bok choy and scallops and brown rice.
oh, amazing.
And I was like, I appreciate that his ability to like give me presents is just to feed myself.
Sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's important. Speaking
Uh,
of, what did you say? Whatever your soda sugar-free thing was.
yeah,
There's a sugar-free or zero something like Fanta that has just come out recently.
really.
I
This
saw
is
someone post about it today.
this is the sparkling ice waters, which are not as good as like
Yeah, I hate
regular
them.
flavored waters. But this, have you tried the Starburst ones?
Yeah. See, I don't like sweet drinks,
I know you
and I don't
don't.
like sparkling drinks. So if you're gonna give me a sparkling drink, it has to really not have flavor.
See, and I'm the exact opposite. Dan drinks like regular like seltzer, like
Oh,
blackberry.
I can't.
No,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
he drinks like blackberry seltzer water that has like a
Hmm.
hint of fruit. You can smell the fruit,
Hmm.
but you can't taste it. And
Right.
like that shit is disgusting to me. But a strawberry starburst sparkling ice,
Mm-mm.
you will convince me that it is got, even though it has literally not a single nutritional element to it. But on the one hand, it also has like it has no sugar, no fat, no
Right.
carbohydrates. It has literally nothing in it
Yeah.
except for water and chemicals.
Yeah, my
Which
dad
is
discovered those this year.
yeah.
And I was like, they're not, we drank them a lot in college. I didn't really like them then either, but they're very cheap. So
Yeah, they are cheap. But no, I now I just drink water with Mio and wish it tasted better.
I've never tried Mio. I just drink water or coffee.
I hate water.
Sometimes I have a Coke, but like only when I'm at Rachel's usually.
Yeah, Chrissy asked me the other day, she's like, "Do you feel like thirsty a lot?" Basically trying to figure out if my cholesterol was related to diabetes. And I go, "Well, yes, but not because I have diabetes, but because I haven't had a sip of water in 3 days." And she goes, "Well, yeah, that'll do it." I was like,
I guess that's a good sign for me because I do get dehydrated, but I'm never thirsty.
yeah.
Like,
No, and like I'm never even then I'm like not like, "Oh, I'm so thirsty right now," unless I do something that makes me thirsty. I'm not just like aimlessly thirsty,
yeah,
but also I don't drink water, so of course I'm fucking thirsty.
I'm
But
getting a lot better at it, but I'm still just okay at it.
um
I'm much better
I
when I'm out and about. If I'm at home, I am drinking coffee, and then I remember I've had three coffees and no waters, and I have to try again.
yeah, I have a giant water tumbler and Dan was like, "You love that tumbler. You need to drink water. Why don't you take your tumbler?" And I go, "Well, the last two times I left the house with my tumbler, I ended up basically in the hospital. So I'm just mentally not gonna take the tumbler and drink water out of it anymore, which has absolutely nothing to do with the tumbler, but that
Right.
is that is the mental block I'm at right
The
now, which
correlation.
there's no causation. It's entirely
Mhm.
correlation, but it is really hindering my ability to be hydrated.
You just have to get a new one.
Yeah, but this is my Akatar one.
Mhm. Well, you're gonna have to get what is the other one? Fourth wing? Is that
Yeah,
what
I'm
you're
gonna have
reading
to.
now?
Oh
Get you
yeah.
a fourth wing one.
Oh yeah.
You're like how cool and hip I am by knowing how.
You know the book. But since I'm dehydrated and overweight, do you want to give me some some guidance to get me through this life?
Let's see. Uh, yes, yes, I do. Okay. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
All right.
I realized I was out of books. And so while I was taking Sadie out to eat, I got like 10.
Mm,
So I'm back in business.
sorry, I'm changing what we talked about in our thing in my notes so I know what to write in my blurb when I make the episode.
Mm.
So today we are talking about Stargate Atlantis, season one, episode 7. You're like, I don't have the right notebook with me.
I do,
Um,
I got it because I had to stand up like 4 times before we started recording.
it is called Poisoning the Well, and it is rated 7.4 stars. It premiered on August 20th, 2004. So we are hopping back in time a little bit because we jumped ahead to the 27th, yes, last week. But um, we the top song is Lean Back and the top book is Da Vinci Code. The top movie, however, is Exorcist: The Beginning,
Did we
which
actually watch that one?
no, we did not watch that one.
Why?
But I don't
What's wrong
know.
with it?
I don't know, but to be fair, by next Friday, it's no longer the top movie. So
But
it was,
we watched the original
we watched the original and then
and
we
we watched the
watched
new one
the new one. We didn't watch
and we
anything in
just
between
skipped in the middle. Okay.
because we
That
heard that
was
they were
such
terrible. And
that's
to be
fair.
honest, if if them being terrible was enough to stop us, why did we watch the new one?
Because we had to. I had to know.
I had
I
to
had
know.
to know. And we were watching Big Brother. Like there was a whole lot of factors that played into us watching Believer or whatever it's called.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, no, it's
On
terrible.
on this day, the only thing that I could find in the news that wasn't about a world war that was too depressing to talk about was that Michael Phelps won his fifth gold medal that day.
Oh, good for him. Good for him.
It's been quite a few since then. So, um, this episode was directed by Brad Turner. That you're nodding, because we have talked about him. This is his first Stargate episode ever. But he directed an episode of Dead Like Me, so we have already talked about him.
Oh, okay. His name
Yeah.
sounded familiar. Like
Yeah.
familiar, familiar.
Yeah, no, but we have
But it's
not.
just kind of familiar.
It's just kind of familiar. We talked about him during Dead Like Me.
Okay.
Um, the teleplay was by Damian Kindler, the story editing by Martin Giroux, but it was written by someone new, Mary Kaiser. Now, this is very interesting to me because she has exactly two IMDb credits, and that is this episode of Stargate Atlantis and a movie, a short film called The Desert Rose. But her credentials for writing this episode is that she is actually a retired NASA scientist who spent over 30 years working on research on the human system integration for aerospace systems and the ability for computers and people to communicate with each other. And a year before this episode, she published her first book, which was a novel about the Wright brothers based on her research in aerospace technologies.
Huh.
So,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Good for her.
Um, she did have a really funny line in her bio on her website where she said that she got paid for this episode in Canadian dollars, so she still doesn't know what she made.
Oh, that's amazing. I love
Yeah.
that. That would also be me.
But
I don't
also,
know. That's a lie. I got really good at Canadian dollars recently, but
speaking of money though, I had the realization today that we were talking about symbolism in my one of my classes, and we were talking about people calling money green, but my kids
mhm.
are young enough that they have never seen green money because American money is no longer just green. So
Yeah.
they didn't understand what I was talking about.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about it either until I was trying to explain the symbolism to them, and they were like, "But money's not green." And I was like, "You're right."
Well, yeah.
Um, But then they also didn't know that Benjamin Franklin wasn't George Washington, and
Mhm.
they got really offended that the only person on, like the person on the biggest bill is the only one who has nothing to do with money. Um,
Sure.
which is
Sure.
valid. I agree. So,
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against Ben Franklin, but Alexander Hamilton created the Treasury, and then everyone else is a president. Don't really know what Ben Franklin's doing on our biggest bill.
He's just like he's the social one. He's a friend of everyone. Is that like, you know what? You're the one. Everyone
Yeah.
likes you. I don't think that's true. I don't think everyone liked him, but that's my story.
I think a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. This episode was edited by Jeremy Presner, who we have talked about already. Our guest star is Alan Scarf. He is known for Lethal Weapon 3, Andromeda, and Double Impact. He was born in 1946 and in London and was a classically trained thespian. But he was
Oh,
actually raised in Vancouver. He made his theatrical debut in 1964 as Mark Antony in Julius Caesar and spent 8 seasons working as one of the principal players in the Stratford Shakespeare Festival. He's done a lot more stage work than screen work. But he is most notable for playing villains. That's kind of his shtick. Um, but then beginning in 2003, he published 4 novels under the pseudonym Clanash Farjian.
what a name.
What a name, right?
I'm
Um,
gonna take
and
notes.
and also I didn't in my notes write down the names of any of these novels, but they sound fascinating. One of them is called, oh no, I do remember. I don't remember the exact title, but it's basically it's a novel. It's not a research book, like it's a novel, but it is basically a novel of the confession of the Jack the Ripper as told to the author. Like he's writing basically a novel that is a journal interview
Hmm.
with Jack the Ripper, like confessing to him.
What is his name again?
Alan Scarf,
No, no,
S.
on like if I'm
Oh,
looking on Goodreads.
oh, Clanash, Clanash, Farjion, Farjeon.
No.
No, he's not showing up.
Oh, here we go. There's the Jack the Ripper one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the only one that's on here. Is that, did you see other ones?
His website says he published four of them.
Hmm. The only one is
Um,
on Goodreads, so.
well, that's weird. Um, oh, on mine it says
Oh, but it's
no.
under, no, 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 they're
Is it
under
under
his
his
name.
real name?
Yeah, but it says like the title is A Handbook for Attendants on the Insane, the autobiography of Jack the Ripper as revealed to Clinash Farchion.
Yes, yeah.
Got it, got it, got it.
That's why that one's showing up because his name is, I think since then the books have like shown up under his actual name, but
Yeah.
um one is called, I found them all, The Vampires of Juarez, The Demons of 9/11, The Mask of the Holy Spirit, and The Revelation of Jack the Ripper, an autobiography as told to Klanash Farjan.
And other than Jack the Ripper, they all have the same cover.
Yes, with vampire teeth on it. I think they're a
Mhm.
series.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Interesting.
he retired from acting in 2007, and then unfortunately he did pass away from colon cancer last year at the age
Mm.
of 77.
It's a bummer.
Um, Dan is already done with rehearsal and at the grocery store, so that's fun. And we just started.
Excellent, excellent.
So we start on a new planet where we are meeting the chancellor of these people. The planet is called Hoff. And um, he's showing the team the geothermal energy source that they're beginning to work with. And he says that after the last Wraith culling, they're working to rebuild their society. And while their advances may be attracting the Wraith's attention, they don't want it to stop them from attempting to reach their human potential, basically. They're also working on a viable defense of the Wraith. Based on historical patterns of cullings, they have 50 years until the next Wraith culling, so they want to use that time to their advantage. So the Chancellor takes them, the team, to the lab, and they find out that the defensive weapon they have is actually a scientific creation or serum that they hope will make them immune to the wraith. And then we go right into the credits.
Yep.
So Um, we've the drug that the Hoff are working on, or the Hoffins, sorry, I like sometimes I just wrote Hoff. The drug that the Hoffins are working on is several years away from completion, but the people are solely finished on focus on finishing it. Like everyone with any ability to work in science in their entire society is focused on finishing this drug. Um, and John has volunteered the team to help them complete it. And he also voluntold Beckett to be the one to do it.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Uh,
He's like,
so
yeah, and he agreed. And she's like, really? And he's like, he would.
well, he will. Um, we go back to the planet, and Becca is very unhappy to be there, mostly because he hates gate travel and he finds it weird and disconcerting, which is really funny because it is in fact an allusion to Scotty in Star Trek. And every time that there is a Scotty comment about Beckett, it just makes me so sad that Simon Pegg played him in those movies, but that's fine. He gets to the lab, he's tinkering through things, he's trying to determine how far the society has been able to advance, like where their technology has made it to, when he meets Perna, the chief scientist, and he is quite immediately smitten. He's in love. Um,
Like immediate love.
immediately.
Yeah.
Um, and we learn through the way that the different conversations between like Taylor and the people of Hoth that the throughout the entire Pegasus galaxy, basically the Wraith call societies specifically to prevent them from advancing too far. They basically like
Right.
knock a society out, let them repopulate enough to be a good food source, and then knock them out again before they have any ability to like advance. And they have destroyed the Hoff many times, and so they've never reached their full potential, but they've decided they're determined to use their knowledge to eventually beat the Wraith to the punch. And they've done this by the Chancellor shows them, and they have a hidden secret archive that contains all of the knowledge of their entire history of their society, and only a select few people know how much information is actually down there. And they also have other archives in the city in case one is destroyed. So they're basically like doomsday preppers, but like intelligently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and he tells them that the drug was close to perfection 150 years ago, but then the Wraith came and they had to rebuild. And he is determined to save his people from the Wraith and end the cycle. At this point, he still seems like a mostly decent person.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of one of the other episodes we watched of SG-1. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but it was the one where the society had all these archives and they were building and building and building off of it. And it turns out that like all the archives were like a lie or whatever. They didn't have the right information, but it was enough of the right information to teach us about like the Stargate. And is that where we learned about like Atlantis' existence?
Um,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I'm just not sure if I'm conflating episodes because I think the one that I'm thinking of about all the archives, but the archives isn't true, was the episode that Christopher Heyerdahl was in, like Halling was in originally, where they were
Hmm.
in the bubble and then they kept getting their minds disappeared because of the little thing on their head.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. That's the one I was
okay,
thinking
that's the
of.
one you're talking
Hmm.
about. Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
I was like, that was the one my brain went to, but
Yeah.
but then there was also the one with Linnea as
Hmm.
not Linnea as Kira, and they had that whole
Yeah, yeah.
library and the whole drug thing, and so like I was like, I don't know which.
It's possible I've combined the two in my head too.
Yeah, but also like how many times did we learn about Atlantis and then not learn about it? So
Right.
um, Perna tells Carson about the original drug, and the drug was a prototype based on a protein contained in the blood of a man who was able to survive a wraith calling. So they'd use and be immune to them trying to feed. The
Hmm.
original scientist who made this protein or drug unfortunately died before the drug could be used, but his journals and all of his materials, including active wraith cells, were saved and for the next generation of scientists, and Perna's entire life has basically been trying to get this to work. Um, so Carson helps out a little bit, and we go back to Atlantis where he reports to Dr. Weir that he thinks the drug actually could work, and he wants to be able to like move on to the next like trial stage and use live tissue because they've been using these ancient wraith cells basically. So John goes to visit the Wraith prisoner who, surprise, I don't know if you remember, we definitely still have a Wraith locked in the basement of Atlantis.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and he's obviously just going to antagonize him because that's what he does. And he names him Steve. This will not be the last time that John just names people whatever he wants and then they stick.
I understand that that's probably not appropriate, but I love it. Like,
I mean,
you're
he
supposed to call people by their names.
he really
But
primarily only does it with the Wraith. He does
oh well, then
anytime.
that's good. I don't feel as bad about that.
Anytime they
Yeah,
encounter a wraith that they encounter for more than like one episode, he will give them a name that is not their name, and then that will be their name for the rest of the show.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do love that.
So Steve says there's no chance that he'll tell them anything unless they let him feed. Obviously,
Sure,
that's not gonna work.
sure.
So then we go back to our team and they're having a round table and they're arguing about what to do. Carson thinks that he is going to succeed in making a new prototype, and Taylor argues that the drug is only going to be useful if it is equal for everyone and not just for the people of this one planet. Um, but they decide that the next stage is going to be to test it on an actual living wraith. So they are going to take some tissue samples from Steve. Um, Carson brings all his lab equipment to Hop and begins to work on a synthetic version of the drug. Perna is absolutely fascinated by laptops. Um, and she wants to know what Earth is like, and she asks about it and how peaceful it must be. And Carson kind of has this moment where he's like, we kind of fucking suck because like we
Right.
should be a lot more peaceful. When you look at it that way, like we have nothing to fucking worry about, and we are awful.
Yeah.
Um,
The
he
world's
al
a mess.
he also says one of my favorite Beckett Scotticisms that nobody else understands in this scene, and he says something about a bald head is only ready to be shaved or something, and it like literally doesn't make sense. But he's like, no, 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 where I'm from, everybody totally knows what that means.
Like
Uh,
that whole area over
but I was
there, the
like,
Scottish, the Irish are the wildest
but I was gonna say,
people,
but
say.
based on my experience in Scotland, I guarantee that not only do people know what he means, or that people do know what he means, but it isn't everyone. It's probably everyone in a 5 minute radius of him, and then you
Mhm.
go 6 minutes away and they speak a completely different dialect of Scottish. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
Scotland is wild.
Mhm.
Um, and then we get a montage, which is weird because every time one of these shows like actually has a montage scene, I just get so confused because I mean, the music's always great. I'm just so not
Sure.
used to that. I'm like, because one of the reasons why my notes are always so long is because these episodes are just like honestly kind of overpacked with information. And then we randomly have like a 3 minute montage of of Carson and Perna working on the drug while at the same time John is trying to get Steve to talk, and we go back and forth with weird montage music between these two um
Yeah.
things. And then fun fact, little spoiler for you guys, in the next episode of Stargate we're going to talk about next week for our SG1 episode, we also have weird montages, but those two episodes aired on the same day. So I don't know what I would do if on the same day I watched the two episodes and they both just had weird montage
I mean,
scenes.
I watched them both on the same day today, and I felt like I was in a fever dream. Like,
I did watch them both on the same day yesterday, but I was actively taking notes while doing it, so I didn't have the chance to feel as much as I would if I was just watching
sure.
them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair.
Perna and Carson succeed in the preliminary phase, and Perna tells the Chancellor they're ready for the next phase. And Carson goes, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, well, we're going to test it against your wraith."
No one asked
No one
permission,
asked
first
permission
of
for it.
all. That was my first. I was like, I never heard a question. I never heard any permission. It was just like, you have this thing and we're gonna take it from you now. Like,
Right. Um,
yeah.
Dr. Weir is also not very happy about the idea. And she brings up the fact that this goes against the Geneva Convention. And John says one of my
Okay,
favorite
yeah.
lines of all time. He says, "Yeah, but if the Wraith were at the Geneva Convention, they'd eat everyone."
Right, right, right.
So it's really hard to work with someone whose morals are killing you and only killing you with no feelings attached whatsoever. Um,
Correct.
And he says, Steve's going to starve to death anyway because we're not feeding him. And the test subject is a terminally ill patient who volunteered because if this doesn't kill them, their disease will very soon. And so, like,
Yeah.
no one is going into this unawares.
Blind.
Yeah.
Right.
And she has some pretty big emotional realizations in this moment as well. And she realizes that this expedition is not the one she thought she was leading when she left Earth. And she is really underprepared for the level of intense that we are dealing with by
Well,
being
and to be fair
trapped.
to her, no one's prepared for this. Like, not only is she unprepared, but like everyone would be unprepared. So like,
Yeah.
you
She
know.
doesn't strike me as the kind of person who's good at being unprepared.
Right. I'm familiar with
Um
that. So
um I'm really good at being unprepared for everything all of the time because I am. I started all of my classes today that said, "Today I'm giving you all a present. You don't have your bell work this week because I forgot to print it and I don't care to do it now."
yeah, I have to literally like starve my brain. Like I have to overwork my brain so it will stop long enough for me to not be too freaking excited myself. Literally, I did an interview last week and I just didn't sleep the night before and cleaned my entire house. And like because I was like, I have to be a normal person in this interview, and I'm not gonna be if I
Mhm.
don't ruin my brain first.
I was taking a nap when Dan got home from work today. He sat down next to me and wrapped his arms around me. I was not like I was asleep, and I just go, "Oh shit!" And he said, "What?" I said, "I left my computer charger at work, and I got to record today." He goes, "You can use my charger." I go, "Thanks," and then fell back asleep. So
Yeah, yeah,
I got it. I got it. But
yeah,
she
yeah.
does tell John that he can go ahead and feed this poor patient to the wraith. Um, John goes to Steve, tells him he's making an offer of information for food. Steve agrees and they take him on a little field trip. Um, Perna and Carson are talking to the dying patient whose name is Merrill. And they're explaining what he's going to be facing. And he says he's not afraid and that, like, at least if he dies this way, his death will, like, have meaning.
Matter. Yeah.
And, like, he's like, I will be, like, doing something for the greater good. Otherwise, I'd just be dying. And
Hmm.
I get that.
Right.
Um, Carson doesn't like any of this, and he's really worried about the moral lines that they're crossing, and he's worried about the idea that the ends justify the means, and he really just doesn't think that that is true. And
Right.
she says that in this case they have to. Like the ends have to justify the means or because other like otherwise they will never get there. Like they will never be able to
Right.
do this and it's bigger than all of them. So there's some trouble in paradise there. Um, Steve does give John some information. John asks how many hive ships were awakened when he accidentally fucked up in the first episodes, and Steve says all of them.
All of them, of course.
Of course.
Is that how the answer was you're
Is
looking for?
not right. I don't know if you were looking for a more specific number, but infinity. What? What?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and then um and that they're all just waiting in the wings using their own personal feeding grounds to level up so that they can join forces and attack Atlantis, basically. So then Meryl enters and they put him in the cell, and Steve is like, I can't feed this on this guy. He's too weak. He's dying. But beggars can't be choosers. Steve is also dying. He goes ahead to feed. However, nothing happens.
Oops.
So the Hoffmans very prematurely start celebrating their victory with the drugs, start wanting said that this one time that this one guy didn't get fed on clearly means that they are ready to mass produce the drug. And Carson is like, hold on, what? He's like, we don't even know like what happened. Like, we don't know if his prior health had anything to do with the effect of the drug. We don't know anything. We have to run more tests. We need a full report. Like we can't just like jump to conclusions. Um,
Correct.
However, apparently the Olympic long jump team is the people he's working with because um however, ever since the test, Steve seems to be dying.
Hmm.
He's like falling apart in the cell. He tries to attack, and even though he's not in the like um magic, it's not magic, it's technology, but I just always call it the magic. He's not even in the magic cell that like lets him not reach out, but he still can't like attack.
Yeah.
Um and he starts to die and John's like, "No, we're gonna help you." And he's like, "Your pity is worthless. Everyone's gonna hate you even more for feeling bad for me. You're not a real warrior. They're coming for you," and dies.
Yeah. I mean, what a way to go out, though.
Right. Um, so Beckett does an autopsy of the Wraith because, like, of course you do, and discovers that the serum, like, not only protected the Hoffins, but it actually mutated when it was exposed to the Wraith chemical and killed the Wraith. And everyone is like, this is not what we thought it was. Like we thought it was just like a defense system, and now you're saying it's like actually going to actively kill the Wraith. Um, and the Chancellor's like, I don't see the problem. Um, John tries to explain that it's not so much a problem of the Wraith being dead, and more so a problem of if the Wraith know that you have the ability to kill them, they will wipe you out of existence as soon as possible.
Correct.
And the
Correct.
Chancellor's like, well, that sucks. We've already started inoculating everyone.
Yeah, that's not how it works, bro.
I
Like,
I have met drunk 19-year-old sorority girls who let more time pass before decisions.
yeah, 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 100%.
Um, Carson is furious
As he
and
should be.
he starts to pack up the lab and he's like, I'm not staying. I can't be a part of this. You have to stop. And Perna's like, we can't. And he's like, why? And she's like, because Meryl is dead. And he was like, well, then that's exactly why you like should say, I don't understand what you're saying.
Right,
He was like, you need to like, and he was like, she was like, but we're not going to stop doling out the drug because it's one person. Like, we can't prove he was dying anyway. We can't prove the drug had anything to do with this. And he was like, well, then stop the drug until you can figure it out. And
right.
she goes, yeah, but see it, I already took the drug.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, girl.
but she at least agrees to go with him to the chancellor and talk about it. And he begs them to stop, and they won't. But then this session of unreasonable fighting gets interrupted by Taylor calling saying that they have a full-scale crisis in the medical center and everyone is dying. Don't worry, it's not actually everyone. It's only 50% of their population. And since only 50% are going to die, they're going to keep going.
Yeah, he's like, it's fine. Half of our population, that's not anything. We still have half of our population. It's like
Oh,
that is not we're not, this is not a glass half full situation. Like,
and he's like, well, I can't make the decision to stop on its own. I will take it to the council. We'll have a vote on it. And John's like, well, if you lose the vote, if they say to stop, do you promise you will stop? And he said, absolutely. We are a democracy. My personal feelings don't have anything to do with this. Cool. Great. Um, Carson is stressed the fuck out because everyone in the lab is dying and he's the only doctor with any merit in the whole place, except for Perna, and she has disappeared. And Taylor's like, yeah,
bad news.
that's because she's dying too. Um, then Carson and Perna have a sad romantic goodbye moment and she dies.
This is like I asked you last week if this was a depressing episode. And you said not as much as when all the kids die. And you weren't wrong, however.
All I promised was that it wasn't as bad as 24-year-olds offing themselves in ritual sacrifice. I didn't say it wasn't tragic. I said it
It's still
wasn't
pretty tragic.
that tragic. I
Right.
said it was better than children murder.
Yeah,
Um,
I just felt a little misled.
Adults dying in droves because of their own idiotic choices to take untested medication is not the same as
It is
brain
not the
is
same.
not as bad as brainwashed children committing ritual suicide.
That is correct. I do agree with that. Fully agree. However, still sad, still not great.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that is the question of the world today. Anyway,
Every day. Every day.
um, so the team leaves, and as they're leaving, they meet the chancellor again, who says that they will, in fact, continue to use the drug. The council voted on it. 96% of the living people on Hoff have agreed that they do want to use it. And so the team is like, we gotta go. And they're like, well, when you come back, will you help us? spread this drug to other planets so that everyone can be protected from the rape. And they said,
No,
not a
bruh.
fucking chance. And they said, if we come back and you're still alive, we can have a conversation.
Right.
But as of right now, we're fucking out of here.
Yeah. Jesus
Um,
Christ.
and that is the end of the episode.
And is this like a part one, or are we just leaving them and maybe we'll check on them later?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool. Great. Well, I wish them the best.
Yeah.
Wild.
And don't worry, in the next episode of Atlantis, we meet yet another race of people.
Cannot wait. There's nothing I love
However,
more.
the next one is a much more important race of people for the long term of the episode or of the
It's
series.
sad.
I don't remember.
Mm, mm.
Um,
Not a good start. Not a good way to start that.
no, it's that sad is the right word I would use for it. Um,
But it's not the wrong word either, is what it sounds like.
uh, no, it's it's not sad in the way that the last ones have been sad.
Okay. Okay, I'll decide to trust you.
Okay. But we do meet another new race of people. Um, for people who watch this podcast who know what we're talking about, next week is the first Janai episode. So that
Ooh
is
la la.
so that's they well next Atlantis. Next week's episode of the podcast is what Courtney describes as a fever dream. It is a wild episode of S2.
Yeah. It's awful. It's unhinged.
But it is related to my only clue for you before we watched it was that it was actually related to multiple things that have already been talked about this
It
show.
is. That is a true statement. That is a true statement.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And that's all I got for
yeah.
but who or do you have any thoughts, theories, questions that we haven't discussed yet?
I mean, I assume we're never going to see these people again. That is my guess. I hope that's not the case because I do want to know about this drug situation. I mean, I'm sure the drug will come back regardless, but like my assumption is we're never going to see these people again. So whatever, that's fine. Um, I I I'm really digging like Beckett's take. I feel like he's the voice of reason. Even though he's a little quirky, he's still the voice of
I
reason,
love
which is
him.
nice.
Yeah.
Um,
He
you know,
I don't have a lot of trivia for this episode. A lot of it was just like interviews with people that was about like personal feelings about it and stuff. But they did have this episode written before they even filmed the first episode. And so like when they did film the first episode, producers and everything told Paul McGillian that there was a really big Beckett episode coming. And when he read the script, he like broke down because he was like, to be a like not that Beckett's not like a big character, but he's not one of the main like team. He's not even been
right.
in fully in every episode, and for him to have this emotional and big of an episode this early in a series, like he was like really, really like affected by it. And like what it
Hmm.
meant for his character for the long term and like being that integral to the story.
That's so sweet. I love that.
Yeah. I love Beckett.
I do too.
Uh, who do you want to punch?
The Chancellor. He doesn't know how to run nothing. I don't care if it's democracy. Like you got to run some tests, more than one. One is not enough. It's never been enough. I had to run more than one test when I was in fourth grade science. Like you got to do your due diligence, friend.
Yeah. I the Chancellor was also my number one pick, but because of that, I did pick Perna because as lovely as she was and as much as Carson liked her, she was just as
Dummy.
complicit in the rushing of the science. And at least the chancellor has the excuse that he is a politician, not a scientist, because we know plenty of politicians who don't wait for science before they make public declarations.
Hmm.
However, she is the chief scientist. It's literally her job to science, and she couldn't.
But she's just being a dummy.
So I picked her.
That's
Um,
fair.
who is your MVP?
Beckett.
Of course.
Ugh.
I this time I did make sure that I picked two for each one because as
Hmm.
I typed Carson and the Chancellor, I knew that there was no chance that you were not
Hmm.
going to also pick Carson and the Chancellor. So for
For
my
sure.
second place for the MVP, I this one it was a little harder, but I did pick Dr. Weir.
Okay, I think
And
she's a
even
good
though she was a
choice.
very small part in this episode, I think her realization and discovery of what this expedition really is and the kind of
Hmm.
role they're going to have to play in this new galaxy is a big one for the cohesion and the rest of the time in Atlantis.
Yeah, I think that
So
makes sense. I would have probably picked her. Her or Taylor. And I know Taylor also had a very small role, but like
yeah, it's interesting.
similar reasons though, you
Yeah,
know?
it's interesting when you have like we get a lot of episodes in SG1 where it's like this is a Teal'c episode, this is a Daniel episode, but it feels a little weirder in this show because maybe because it's so early, it's so new
Hmm.
to have these like really singular person episodes. Um, but then I think about it and like the first Teal'c Chulak episode was very early in the first season of Stargate. So I don't know why this is seems stranger to me to not have Rodney and Taylor like in the episode.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
yeah. Well, if you have any thoughts, theories, questions, concerns. If you would like to also rank where these tragedies fall in terms of what is allowed to be sad, um, please email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can follow us on all the social media at Death and Aliens. You can follow me everywhere at ENKAY_superstar.
And you can find me at CE Cloud 13.
And we will see you on Sunday
Nope.
for No, today is Sunday. We will see you on
Hello, it's
Thursday.
Sunday.
Hello,
Hi.
it's Sunday. We will see you on Thursday for an episode of American Horror Story, where I once again lose all faith in myself as a human being.
Isn't that a fun time?
It's a great time.
I love that for you.
Bye.
Bye.